Hello there, and welcome back to another interesting episode. Before we dive in, just remember to click on the subscribe and like button to show your support on our videos. Now, sharks are divisive animals. These fascinating creatures, both beautiful and lethal, have come under a lot of scrutiny and hostility over the years, especially because of their connection to fatal shark attacks. Sharks come in 500 distinct species worldwide, 400 of which live in Australian waters. Nevertheless, shark numbers are steadily declining, with an estimated 100 million sharks being captured and slaughtered yearly by fishermen. While you often hear about shark attacks in Australia, they happen all over the world. Shark attack stories seem to always become national news during the summer months. The bad news is different species of sharks swim beneath the surface of most beaches, meaning an encounter is possible virtually anywhere. The good news is flying champagne corks result in more deaths annually than sharks. So today we'll be looking at the 10 most terrifying shark attack beaches in history. These 10 locations around the world are beaches where shark attacks happen at the greatest frequency. Let's carefully dive in then. Number 10. The 2023 19-foot great white attack. Manuel Lopez was scuba diving off the western coast of Mexico near Benito Juarez in Sonora while collecting axe-stripe mollusks. He had been warned by local officials prior of great white sightings in the area but chose to continue with his dive. Lopez wanted his income from the mollusks, weighed his risks, and took the dive regardless. On January 6 at 11:30 a.m., a 19-foot great white shark attacked Lopez as local fishermen watched helplessly from the Tobari Bay shore. He was diving when the animal attacked him, ripping off his head and biting both shoulders, said local fisherman Jose Bernal, who witnessed the attack in real time. Number 9. Sydney Peace broken by horrid shark attack, 2022. Prior to 2022, the last fatal Sydney shark encounter had taken place in 1963, per Taronga Australian Shark Incident Database. Sydney takes great pride in beautiful, peaceful beaches as a result of the track record. Or they did until that peace was ruptured by a massive shark. Crowds of Sydney beachgoers and local fishermen watched as the shark appeared next to a dive suit-clad swimmer. Then the water went completely red. A great thrashing broke out in which the victim's body began lashing about the water surface. As dozens watched, the swimmer was then dragged beneath and then disappeared. When he went down, there were so many splashes. It was terrible. I was shaking. I keep vomiting. It's very upsetting. Everyone was looking around, trying to work out what was going on. There were still people in the water. I'm never getting in again. No way, one witness said to ABC after the attack. Sydney police then located human remains in the water. Unfortunately, this person had suffered catastrophic injuries and there was nothing paramedics could do, the case spokesperson said. Number 8. Papua New Guinea. The eastern half of New Guinea, the biggest tropical island in the world, is known as Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea, which is located in the Pacific Ocean, has recorded 48 shark attacks since 1848. It's unclear if the shark attacks in Papua New Guinea are related to divers and other visitors, or to the native practice of shark fishing. Some Papua New Guineans still engage in the ancient art of shark calling, notably in the province of New Ireland. Shark callers assert that they may communicate with shark spirits by calling them rituals and ceremonial music. The caller clubs and nooses the shark as it approaches the boat and brings it back for all to dine on. Number 7. Mick Fanning's 2015 run-in in South Africa. Who could forget Mick Fanning's 2015 run-in with the great white, just 2 minutes after the start of the J-Bay Open? Cape Town continues to attract tourists and sharks with beautiful beaches and a flourishing population of seals. Due to the astronomical amount of fatalities in KwaZulu-Natal and Eastern Cape, officials have recently turned to controversial measures to mitigate the risk of shark attacks. Drumline, catch-and-kill techniques continue to spark debate across the globe, but recent non-invasive mitigation measures like shark spotting and flagging have begun to turn the tides on danger. Although simple, the color-coded flagging system in place in most South African public beaches has proven to be very effective in warning the public. Number 6. Rodney Fox Aldinga Beach Attack. Rodney Fox, then 13, was defending his Australian spearfishing title in 1953 when a great white shark grabbed him around the middle and dragged him through the water upside down. The predator released him as he gouged his eyes, but soon returned and attacked again. Fox jammed his arm down the beast's throat and pulled it free again, ripping the flesh from his arm. The shark released him and then returned a third time, dragging Fox along the ocean floor. After nearly drowning, the teenager was released and pulled aboard a nearby boat with his ribcage, lungs, and upper stomach exposed. Miraculously, his main arteries remained intact, and he survived after 4 hours of surgery and 360 stitches. Number 5. Randall Fry Mendocino Coast Attack. Cliff Zimmerman was diving for abalone with his friend Randall Fry off the coast of California in 2004, when disaster struck. Zimmerman reported that he turned from Fry for a millisecond before hearing a whooshing sound and feeling the water move as if a boat went by. He spun around to see Fry gone and a shark fin surfacing momentarily, before the surrounding water turned red. Zimmerman swam for his life. His companion's severed head and body were found separately the following day. Number 4. Robert Pamperin California Attack. In June 1959, Robert Pamperin was diving for sea snails off Lohala Cave in California when his companion Gerald Lehrer heard him scream for help. Turning, Lehrer saw his friend upright and up naturally high in the water with his mask missing. As he swam closer, Lehrer watched Pamperin slowly disappearing into the crimson waves, and diving beneath the surface, he saw his friend being dragged to the seabed in the jaws of a 22-foot shark. Searching the water for his remains, the U.S. Coast Guard found only a single swim fin. Number 3. Jersey Shore Attacks. 4 people were killed in a spate of shark attacks along the coast of New Jersey in the United States during the deadly heatwave of 1916. The first victim, 25-year-old Charles Vinsat, bled to death after sharks stripped the flesh off his thigh as he went for an early evening swim. 5 days later, Charles Bruder, age 27, was killed after a shark tore into his abdomen and severed his legs as he swam off the beach at Spring Lake. The final attacks took place 6 days later on July 12th in Mattawa Creek. Lester Stillwell, a 12-year-old local boy, was dragged underwater as he splashed in the creek with his friends. Stanley Fisher, 24, plunged into the water to search for Stillwell, but was himself attacked by the shark and bled to death. The 12-year-old's mutilated body was found washed up 150 feet upstream 2 days later. Number 2. Shirley Ann Durden Attack. In 1985, Shirley Ann Durden was diving for scallops in Australia's Peak Bay when she was attacked by a around 20-foot-long great white shark. The mighty fish tore the 33-year-old in half in its first strike as her husband and 4 children watched in horror from the shore. By the time rescuers arrived, all that remained was her headless torso floating in the water. Within moments, the shark returned and devoured that too. Really crazy. Number 1. USS Indianapolis Disaster. Perhaps the most famous of all shark attacks, the story of the USS Indianapolis is a harrowing one. The World War II American warship was crewed by over 900 men, all of whom were subject to the horror of the Indianapolis's demise. 2 Japanese torpedoes struck the warship in July of 1945, which split in 2. Left to the mercy of the Pacific Ocean, the stranded sailors watched as swaths of what were believed to have been white-tipped sharks began circling them. The sharks were around, hundreds of them. Everything would be quiet, and then you'd hear somebody scream, and you knew a shark had got him, recalled Woody James, one of just 316 survivors of the USS Indianapolis. A 3-day rescue effort would ensue. By the time any survivors could be pulled from the water, at least 100, if not hundreds more, had been eaten alive by the sharks. Around 800 men survived the initial torpedo blast. 579 were found dead afterwards in the water. Many were eaten beyond recognition. Miraculously, 320 survived. And that's it for today. Please like, subscribe, and also share the video with your friends. What would you like to see next? You could use the comment section for suggestions. See you next time.